Hello everybody, my name is Ryan and welcome to the Gamers of Serenity. Today I'm doing a story time with Ryan. I haven't filmed one of these in probably about a year, maybe a year or two. So let's get into it. Very quick, no live stream today, just gonna throw it out there. Okay, so I went to James's house, James Dolph's house, for 2 weeks. I stayed there for 9 days, and then, well, my trip was 10 days and I stayed with James for 9. And that's basically what happened. And James, during that time, James introduced me to a few new animes. He introduced me to One Punch Man, which was absolutely hilarious, which was Death Note, which very quickly became one of my top 3 favorite animes of all time. And then Kill la Kill, which was kind of weird. Okay, so when we watched Death Note, so we just finished watching One Punch Man. Then James said, "Oh yeah, do you want to watch Death Note?" And then I asked him to explain it to me. And I need, in order for the story to work, I need to somewhat explain what Death Note is. So Death Note, the anime, is about this kid named Light, and Light ends up seeing a notebook fall from the sky onto the ground into the schoolyard when he was in class. So then he picks it up, and then he meets a god of death. Or he picks it up, and it says that if the person's name who's written down in this notebook will die. And he ends up meeting a god of death who previously owned the Death Note. That later gets touched on in the second season. But right now we're only talking about the first season, because that's all we need to talk about. And this kid Light wants to change the world by killing all of the criminals using this Death Note, using this notebook of death, basically, that can kill people. Then, very, very quickly, they introduce this other guy named L, who's retardedly smart, and it has like a very interest in this case, and would like to catch the person who's killing all these criminals in a vast majority way. And Light and L are both very, very smart, and they both have to evade each other, because L has to evade Light, so then L has to evade the guy who has the Death Note, due to the fact that he doesn't want to die, because he wants to catch him before he dies. And Light has to obviously evade the police and L, because he's killing a majority of people, and people don't know how he's doing it. So, late in the season, so you got L, who looks like this, and you got Light, who looks like this, right? So these two guys ended up befriending each other later in the series. I'm not gonna say why, but they do end up. Like a lot of twisty shit happens, and they end up becoming friends, right? Okay, so now let's get to what James would do while I would watch the series with him. What James would do is that, since when he watched the series before me, he would warn me about things. Like, he warned me about like the second season being bad, which I've since to watch, and I didn't really think it was all that bad. And then he would say like, oh, like in this episode this guy gets punched, right? And then I would wait, and I would watch the episode and see if the guy got punched, you know? So like James would spoil things only if I would ask. And in this one particular episode, James got very serious. He goes, okay, like, you know, like he kind of just, you know, kind of got a little bit more serious, and he was just kind of like, okay, listen, there's gonna be a time, in this episode, there's a moment that gets really weird and really uncomfortable, and I don't know how you're gonna really feel about it, especially because, like, you know, cause, like, yeah, like, I don't know how you're gonna feel about it, you know? And I'm like, oh, like, what's going on? And then he goes, I don't really want to say. And I'm like, does it get really, like, fucked up? He goes, yeah, a little bit. It gets kind of fucked up in this episode. And I'm like, okay. So then, So then he says, yeah, so like I don't know if you're gonna want to watch it. I'm like, and then I just kind of said like, well, you know, like I've seen pretty crude things before. Hold on a second, this hair is being a bitch. Okay, so he said he said like I don't know, and then I'm like, well, I watch really, I used to watch like really fucked up shows. I mean like South Park and Kenny vs. Penny and fucking Family Guy, you know. I mean like I like what can be more crude than them, right? And then he goes, well, I suppose, but I don't know, man. Like, are you sure you want to do this? Because I can just tell you what happens when you can just skip this episode. I'm like, no, just show me, right? Okay, so we load up the episode. The episode is pretty, you know, much what Death Note is, right? Death Note's this big game of, like, chess, basically. That's the best way that it was described by James to me. He said it's just this one big game of chess. You know, people are trying to catch people, and it's this crazy thing that I recommend you guys watch. There's this one particular... So this is where spoilers may come in. I'm not 100% if it's much of a spoiler, but here it goes. Okay, so spoiler alert, possibly. So here's what happens. So the Light and L, the two characters, are on a rooftop, or yeah, they were on a rooftop, and it was raining. It was raining, and there was some like dialogue going on saying that, like, I think it's just something along the lines of like, oh, like I actually consider you a friend, and once this is all over, we can probably be friends and hang out and blah blah blah. And then, you know, Light not having his memory of the Death Note, that gets explained later, or very early. Kind of said, yeah, that'd be great, and everything like that. And then what happened is that since when it was raining, they both go back in, and you know, they both have like this long hair. Like L has this very like long and kind of like Super Saiyan-ish black hair. Like it's kind of spiky in the back, and it's just long. Here, I don't know if I already showed you a picture, but I'll throw it back on there if I did. And then Light, kind of the same deal, except his is more like down. And I'll just show you a picture. So this is very integral to the story. So both of their hair is like dripping wet, and then they end up grabbing towels, and then what happened is that Light ended up drying L's hair for him, and then L ended up drying Light's hair for him. And then I'm like, okay, it's kind of weird. I don't really understand the whole point of that. I mean, I guess, you know, friends, I guess, or something. I guess, is that what friends do? And then I was like, whatever, it's an anime. Anime can get weird sometimes. And then the episode ends. And then he goes, James is kind of looking at me, and I'm like, what? And then he's just like, he goes, did you not see the fucked up thing? And I go, no, nothing was really too weird. And then he goes, well, they were on the stairs. He gets all serious again. Okay, serious mode activated. Okay. He says, well, once they're on the stairs, it just completely looked like that they were about to break out in hot, kinky butt sex. And it got fucking weird. And I'm like, Jay, what? And then I was just confused. I'm like, who the fuck comes to that conclusion? And then he's just like, yeah, like it just, like they were just gonna like just start making out and ripping off each other's clothes and just start having sex. I'm like, well, I mean, like I agree that like drying each other's hair was a little bit weird, but it's just, I don't understand like what makes you come to that conclusion. He goes like, I don't know, man, like it's just the tone of the whole thing. And I'm like, I didn't get that at all from watching that whole entire episode. I was just like, are you kidding me right now, James? Really? And then he goes, yeah. And then I'm just kind of thinking to myself, well, what if they broke out in hot kinky butt sex? I mean, like, am I homophobe if I turn it off or if I skip it? No, like, if they did, I would have to watch that fucking thing. So anyways, because you know what? I support the gay community. It's true. But in all seriousness, though, like, I was just like, what the fuck? Like, that doesn't even make sense. That doesn't make sense, James. Oh my god. Oh, Jesus. That was too funny. So, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you, I hope you could understand everything. I hope I explained everything decent enough for you to understand. Oh my god. He thought they were gonna break out in hot kinky butt sex. Cannot believe it. Alright guys. Thank you all for watching. I'll catch you in the next video. Alright, stay beautiful, keep your head up, and I love you, and bye bye everybody.